Were you part of the team when Olive closed?
I led that, in fact, and strangely enough, Victor, I would say that winding down Olive Media is a highlight in my career. Olive was a profitable company. It wasn't without its challenges. The market was changing drastically. And when we closed Olive, really what had been happening was, you might remember La Presse stopped printing a newspaper and they did an iPad only version of their newspaper.
I remember that.
And with that, yeah, yeah, really bold, really big, bold, like, swing for the fences kind of move. And with that, they pulled out of the Olive partnership because now their sales team was only digital, right? And we had been their digital sales team up until that point, and then they had their newspaper sales team. And now that they had no newspaper, they're like, okay, so like we don't need anybody else to do this for us anymore. We're taking a swing for the fences. We're going to take this back in house. We're going to do it ourselves. And with that decision, it really left quite a gaping hole in what was Olive Media, because La Presse was a big part of our business. And at the same time, Torstar was like, kind of figuring out what the heck are we going to do. And they decided at that time that they would not move forward with Olive Media as a separate digital entity anymore. And so we closed it. They took their star sales back in, and we let our partners know, you're going to have to find new partners in Canada because we're not going to be doing this anymore. And, why is it a highlight for me? It's a highlight for me because I feel like that sort of decision and that sort of wind down could be disastrous. It could have been so messy and so ugly and so painful for so many people. And I made it my mission to close Olive in the way that we had always been at Olive, and that was with transparency and with care and with compassion and with partnership and support at the forefront. And so, I rallied my team of leaders together and said, this is what's happening, and here's what I want us to do. And if you can do this, great. If it's not for you and you want to leave, that's okay too. We'll support you in that. You can do that. But I would love it if you were here to help us do this. And, I feel like we did right by our people at Olive. I feel like we did right by our customers and our clients in the Canadian media landscape. And I feel like we did right by our partners, both in the US and in Europe.
The kind of the visual metaphor or analogy that pops into my head as you were telling the story was is that it felt like you were a pilot and you just found out that your plane lost an engine and your job was to safely land the plane that could crash at any moment. Would you say that that's an accurate depiction, or am I completely way off?
Victor, thank you for that. I think that is very accurate. Absolutely. And like I could have had people jumping out the windows, right? Like, oh my God, we're all gonna die, No, that didn't happen. That's a great analogy. Great metaphor.